Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about my why for joining LuLaRoe. I am currently in the queue. I've been in the queue for almost a week now, and obviously there's not a whole lot to report other than, I filled out my paperwork, I did all of that, got that part sent in, so now it's just waiting for the call, waiting for that sort of thing, and I've been told that the wait is about 6 to 8 weeks right now, so I'm not really sure. I've heard mixed things that it can take a whole lot longer or it can be shorter, so it just kind of depends on how many people they're onboarding a day. I'm not really concerned about the wait, actually. At first I was a little like, oh my goodness, that's a really long time to wait, but to be honest, I feel like you do need that time. After this week of just kind of watching lots of different YouTube videos and channels of other people who are successfully working the business and who have also onboarded and waited for this process during the queue, I am kind of thankful for that time, because I feel like you do need that time just to prepare yourself, to get everything in line, and just be ready. I'm sorry, my dog's barking because they think they heard something. But anyway, so one thing that I think is helpful is just having that extra time to kind of prepare your space. So maybe they'll stop. Preparing your space, I think, is really important. And no, they're not stopping. I don't know if they're going to stop or not. So, my goodness. But anyway, so preparing your space, I feel like, is very important, because you have to be able to have the space that you need for all the items that you're receiving, because you're going to receive a ton of inventory. Over 300 pieces to start out with, so he's such a loud mouth. Okay, but and I'm actually planning on expanding a little bit and having more than the initial 300, because I do know that the people that I'll be marketing to, and of course the time frame, it'll probably be more into the fall by the time I get on board. I mean, it's it is like late August now, almost early September. So by the time I onboard and actually become a consultant, I do think it'll be probably fall weather. It'll be a lot cooler. So I think that my clientele is going to be looking for like leggings and warmer clothing. So I think that I can kind of expand on that too, just to make sure that I'm meeting the needs and the demands with my supply. So that is something I'm considering. Now, as far as why I'm joining LuLaRoe, I am no stranger to direct sales. I've done direct sales before. While I was in college, I did Mary Kay for a while, and I'll be honest, most of the time I didn't really take it seriously, just because I was just kind of getting the discount for myself, my friends, my family. So most of the businesses that I've joined in the past, I haven't actually worked. I did Origami Owl for a little while. Oh my gosh, they will not stop barking. And I worked that business for a while, and then currently I am a Chloe and Isabel merchandiser as well, and I do plan to continue that. But it is something that I have done more for fun than for necessarily income, and I have noticed that my network in general, they're just not, I don't know, they just don't wear a lot of costume jewelry, so it is kind of difficult to market that as something that is for everyone when a lot of my friends just don't wear jewelry at all, but we all wear clothes. So I feel like LuLaRoe is something I can definitely market to my friends, and then of course the larger network around me. And of course, since I started buying LuLaRoe items and started wearing them, I absolutely fell in love. I mean, they're so comfortable. I'm actually wearing an Amelia dress right now. This is my first Amelia dress, and I was so pleasantly surprised when I put it on. I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to look good on my figure, just because I am plus size, I am thicker, so I wasn't really sure. I mean, I know high-waisted items can kind of make or break you at times, especially when you're full-figured, so sometimes it can really work well with your body, and then other times it just does not hug you in the right spot. But in this case, it worked out nicely, so this might be my new favorite item. So being able to kind of market that to other people, I feel like is just a really great thing. But back to my why, the reason I'm actually joining is because we do need more income. We do need a way of producing more for our family. It is just me and my husband in this house. with our 4 dogs that bark all the time. I do work from home full time, and I love my job. It is very much my passion. I absolutely love what I do. I work with students in higher education, and I absolutely love it. But at the same time, working in higher education for a non-for-profit, obviously the income is not nearly as substantial as maybe what we need right now. And of course, you're thinking 2 people in a house with some dogs. Why do you need a whole lot of money? Well, my husband's currently in school. He is finishing his 2nd bachelor's degree, and he's going to have about 2, maybe 3 more years with his co-op because he's doing engineering, so it could take a little bit longer. So we're trying to pay for that without pulling way too much in student loans, because I already have student loans from my first graduate degree, and I'm actually currently taking classes for my 2nd graduate degree. So just paying for furthering our education, that's one big concern that we have. But also this home that we're in, which you can probably tell from the decor around me, looking at that fantastic border, this is actually not how I decorated. This home was my grandmother's. She left it in my name, and she was living with us for the past, well, for 2 years. We were all living in this house together, and we were taking care of her. We moved in to take care of her. And she has Alzheimer's, dementia, and it was really becoming difficult to take care of her on a daily basis. And just making sure that her level of care was always where it needed to be. It was really stressful on our relationship. I mean, we're basically newlyweds. We're coming up on our 4th wedding anniversary in September. So just kind of looking at all of those sides, it made more sense to have her in assisted living where she could be with other people all the time, where she could have specialized care. And as hard of a decision as that was to make, especially because obviously assisted living costs a lot. Her living here, I mean, even though it wasn't really free because, you know, we're still paying for things and whatnot, but I mean, that was free. We didn't have to pay for anything. So we went from paying nothing to, you know, her drawing her Social Security to kind of also help out with, you know, any kind of household bills or her medication, paying for that sort of thing, to actually paying out of pocket over $3,000 a month on top of her Social Security check in order to pay for her care now. And, you know, she does have a lot of savings that has helped with that, but it is dwindling, and we cannot afford, on my income, much less my husband who's working part-time at Lowe's, like, we cannot afford to pay for our living as well as extra $3,000 a month, since we don't even bring in that much right now. So that's a lot of money. So with that, mainly I just want to be able to take care of her. I want to be able to pay for her care. I'd like to build up our savings. We really don't have a savings. We've kind of exhausted it for, you know, randomly needing tires or, you know, something happening to a car, just like all these things that just pop up. I mean, as you know, rainy day funds, we used all of those. So we are wiped on that. And we're just kind of ready to go ahead and build that back up. And as much as I know my husband really wants to help with that, because I know he wants to contribute. I mean, obviously he wants to contribute financially. He's trying to get a 2nd degree. It's just not realistic right now because, I mean, what is he going to do? Take on more hours at Lowe's? And he offered to do that. And we kind of did the math, and it was like, even if you worked 10 extra hours a week, that really wouldn't do a whole lot, just because it is hourly. It's not the best hourly, but I mean, it's a good job. He loves what he does. But at the same time, doing engineering and working a job at all is already difficult. So I don't want to put more on him, because I know when I was in undergrad and super involved in different organizations and taking lots of credit hours, and I was just doing, you know, political science, philosophy, so things that I loved and I was passionate about, but not necessarily something where it took me hours and hours and hours to do homework like it does for him. When I was doing that and working multiple jobs, I just remember how stressed out I was, and I can't even imagine trying to do that on top of feeling like you had to completely contribute to the family. So, I mean, I don't mind. It's not like I'm saying that I don't want to be the breadwinner, because I've done that for most of our relationship, and I'm fine with that. Like, I am fine with supporting us while he finishes and gets to where he wants to be, and then we both kind of contribute at that point. So we've got that part figured out. But, you know, we were exploring other options, and LuLaRoe came up. One of my friends had mentioned it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, that's a big investment. And, you know, I've joined companies where you pay maybe $100, $150, $200 because I'm like, oh, sweet, I can get a discount because, you know, I fall in love with products and I want to share them with others, or I want to use them. So, of course, I want to buy more of them. So with that being said, I've joined a lot of different companies that way. But at the same time, I've never had a huge investment. And that's why this is both terrifying and exhilarating. I feel like it's terrifying because obviously, what if you fail? And I know that's something that probably every single consultant has asked themselves, either privately or publicly, while they were in Q, or even while they're actually going through the process of being a consultant, because that is part of running your own business, is what happens if you fail. And I feel like it's a little reassuring knowing that they'll buy back things for a specific amount, which that makes me feel a little better because you'd only be out a certain amount of money. But in my case, I keep telling myself, you're not going to fail. You're going to do great because you're going to put everything into this. And I feel like you do have to have that mentality if this is something you want to do. So you kind of have to be your biggest cheerleader, because in the face of adversity, if you're not cheering for yourself, you know, somebody else is not going to be there cheering for you necessarily. I will say it's a very supportive culture. So you do have like your upline people that are cheering for you, that are training you, doing that sort of thing. And I cannot wait to get to know them more over the coming weeks. I feel like I'm just getting my feet wet at this point. And of course, I'm still just in that exploratory phase where I'm watching videos on YouTube myself and trying to figure out what others are doing, what I can be doing. I'm writing lists down of all the things that I need to buy and what all I need to do. So that's something I want to continue, of course. But yeah, my main why, of course, is because I want to support my family. Definitely my grandmother financially. I'd like to build back up her savings for her just in case something were to happen and, you know, we would need that money for her if she ever needs to go to any other kind of care or anything like that. I mean, she is progressing in her dementia and her Alzheimer's, and it can be really difficult. Yeah. So without getting into a lot of detail, it was really difficult having her here while working from home. So it's been a big transition because we moved her out Memorial Day weekend of this year. So it's only been, 2 months. Wow. So June and July, okay, almost 3 months. So about 2.5 months we've had her in assisted living. And in that time, we have had to completely redo the house in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously this room has not happened yet. But you know, she was living in the master bedroom. Obviously this was her home first. So it made sense. She was back there. And we have so much furniture because we downsized from a larger house ourselves to help take care of her. So we had to get the master bedroom to the point where we could move our stuff in. Now we're shuffling things around between rooms, and it's mass chaos, I'll be honest. I'm also very much into decorating. I love decorating, so I constantly decide, oh, this room should be this color. My husband's just like, that's a couple months away. Let's not worry about that right now. So I'm a bit more visionary, and I feel like he keeps me grounded, which is good. We're a good team. Now, as far as telling my husband that this is something I wanted to do, I did tell him that I was looking for other ventures to possibly consider in order to support us, because I did feel like, you know, even with the raise that I'm probably going to get in the next couple of months with my current job, it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to support us the way we need to be supported without possibly having to take out loans or take out a second mortgage on the house. And even though a second mortgage on the house, you know, it seems like first world problems because obviously we're not paying a mortgage right now. That's wonderful. You know, there's a lot of bills that we're not having to pay that other people our age are paying. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, if we're taking out a second mortgage, I would really like that money to be going back into the house because we don't plan on living here permanently. We'd like to move maybe to a different city, a different state, a different country. I don't know. But we just want to have options. And if we take all that money out of the house with a second mortgage in order to pay for her care, and we're not putting money back into the house by making improvements, it's not going to sell for what it should be worth. So we did take that in consideration. So, you know, second mortgage was kind of quickly marked off the list. Getting loans for the amount that it would take to pay for her care, again, difficult. We don't know how long she'll be in assisted living. I mean, the sad reality is, you know, we do not know how much time we have on this earth. And My grandmother, though she is declining, and she has declined a little more rapidly in the past year than she had in previous, you know, she's still getting around. She's still doing all right physically in most ways. So we could have her for several more years, and, you know, I hope we do. At the same time, the longer she's in assisted living, that's, you know, I mean, $4,000 a month, that's a lot of money. So when you're thinking about it that way, it's kind of difficult to itemize how much money we would need. So that's why I would rather have monthly income that could supplement that. And then, you know, when we don't need that money, we just put it away so that maybe there's a month where I can't work the business the way I wanted to. Maybe we're on vacation one week or something, and we have a month that's slower than another month. That way we have that money there that we can pull and say, okay, well, here's this money that we can use for Granny's care this month. So that's something that I really feel like we have to do. So that's kind of the plan, is to do that. As far as looking forward to what we're going to do with the house and everything, we do live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a huge living room, formal dining. You can kind of see behind me there, formal dining room, foyer, all that area. So right now the living room is fine, the dining room is fine. Like, we're not doing anything in there. The kitchen, we do want to do some things too. So looking at renovations, eventually I think we would put some money towards that. So rather than having money pay me back, or, you know, give me any of the profits, it would go right into the house after we pull Granny's cut from it. So that would be kind of the plan, is to fix up the house the way we want it as well. So it'd kind of be like knocking out 2 birds with one stone. We get all the financial things worked out in one thing. And I've done a lot of the math too, and just based on what my goals would be, I think we could easily manage what we need. What I have now, I have my home office, so I do work from a home office, is set up in the back of our house in a spare bedroom, and that room is really small, and it's also very hot during the day. And I only know this because I work back there, you know, 40 plus hours a week, so it gets really hot. And I've tried blackout curtains, like I've tried putting a fan back there, nothing helps. It's just really hot. So it actually, since we have moved to the master bedroom now, I would like to move my office to our old bedroom, which is near the front of the house, and it's not nearly as hot. It gets better ventilation. It's a little bit larger, and it just gets more natural light too, without being completely heated all day. So that's kind of my plan, is to move that. And then also by doing that, that room would be big enough to have both my home office for my current position. So continue that, but then also the other half of the room, I could have my inventory. It's got plenty of space that I could put racks up. I could even have a little photo area where I'm taking my photographs. So we've kind of figured out that that's the plan. And then that back bedroom, we would make into a guest bedroom. So that's kind of where we're at. The issue is there's stuff everywhere. From moving some of her stuff around to moving our bedroom. I mean, it's a mess. So I've got to figure that out. But once all that gets figured out, I'll definitely be rolling right along. I've heard where some people were like, oh yeah, I'm going to set up a space for my LuLaRoe clothes, and I'm going to do this. But they waited till last minute. And that's one thing that I think, as a lesson, I've learned not to wait until I get that call. So I'm going to kind of slowly get things done. So each week I'm going to set a goal of, okay, I want to get this moved this week. I want to do this week. That way, whenever it is time and I do get that call, I have all the racks set up. I have my hangers in. I'm ready to go. So that's one thing that I definitely want to work on. Another thing I want to figure out is the shipping information. So if any of you know of any really good videos that describes stamps.com, or I don't know what the other one's called, but there's another shipping one that people use, please let me know down in the comments below, because I really need to figure that out. I currently take stuff to the post office frequently. I actually have stuff, thank you cards and stuff from my Chloe and Isabel business this week from sending stuff out. But you know, it's a really small basis. It might be like 5 packages a week. It's not a whole lot. So obviously with larger packages, heavier packages, shipping costs, I'm not really good with knowing all of that. So if you have any suggestions, definitely, you know, let me know. I'd love to love to know what suggestions you have. Do you think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about this week? But yeah, I think the main thing this first week has just been the fear and overcoming that fear. So I am working to, build my confidence and know that I can do this. I know I can do this. I can do anything that I set my mind to. I have done anything. I mean, I got through my undergraduate degree while one semester I was taking 21 credit hours and I was working 3 jobs. And I was commuting. I was living here in the city and commuting 30 minutes away to my school. So I know I can do anything. And it's one of those things where you just have to really hype yourself up and just know, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. And I do plan to write a business plan. I mean, I do have an MBA. I'm working on a master's in management leadership now. So business plans, marketing plans, those are all up my alley. And I enjoy doing that. But I feel like that's going to help me for when I do go and I get a loan from the bank, or when I am kind of 2 or 3 months down the road and I want to be like, okay, here I am. I'm going to analyze where I've been, where I am now, and where I am moving forward. So I have thought about, each month I need to take out 30% for taxes, or, just kind of looking at those numbers and how much I'm going to reinvest back in my business. And, for the first couple of months, since there's still that money buffering for my grandmother's care right now, I do plan to invest a good bit back into my business in order to grow my inventory. And that's one thing I've heard that's really important is every time you sell 25 items to place an order, which I think is 33 items. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's about 33. So that'll help you kind of build your inventory up pretty quickly. So that's something I definitely want to do, is build my inventory from the very beginning. So I don't want to wait and be 6 months down the road and still only have like maybe 400 pieces. I don't feel like I'll be getting anywhere that way. So I do want to build my inventory that way, so that I can, grow a little more. I think. Trying to think if there is anything else. And of course, if y'all have any questions for me, feel free to comment or question me, or if you have any suggestions or anything, that would be wonderful too. But mainly, I did just want to kind of come on here and document where I'm at this point, because I'm here and I'm doing this. So as far as setting up a formal Facebook page or group or anything like that, I am going to wait on that until a little bit closer to onboarding, just because I've heard that obviously you don't want this hype and then everybody will be like, yeah, LuLaRoe, and then yeah, LuLaRoe. Like, you don't want it to just kind of dwindle out and they're like, oh, there you are, you're back, So I am going to wait. I might even create it and start putting stuff in there and just have it private and not let people see it until I'm ready. That might make things easier in the long run. I'm trying to think what else. I will probably also cannot even think right now.